Hi, this is Mary from the Daily Sew. In the last video we went over stitches to sew a basic type of hem, but some garments and some fabrics require a narrow hem. A narrow hem is about 1/8 of an inch, 3 millimeter wide hem. It can be a little bit smaller and it can be a little bit wider. So in this video I'm going to demonstrate how to sew a narrow hem by hand, narrow rolled hem, and by machine. Now the machine stitched narrow hem requires a special presser foot called a hemmer foot. The hemmer feet can be a little tricky, so I've got a couple of tips to help out. If you're ready, let's go. Now with the hand rolled narrow hem, you do actually start with the machine stitch. You stitch the fabric with a straight stitch about 1/4 of an inch in from the edge. If you don't have a sewing machine, you can still do the narrow rolled hem, but this stitch helps you fold the fabric under and acts as a guide. Trim down the seam allowance about half. And then, with very clean hands, because you're going to be holding that fabric a lot, with thumb and forefinger, you're going to roll the fabric to its wrong side. And you're going to make a nice little roll there. You're not just folding it, you're rolling it under, encasing that raw edge. Now we're going to use a slip stitch to sew this roll down. Take a couple of threads, 1 or 2 threads from the garment, and then the needle travels in through the roll. And these stitches are going to be really small, about 1/8 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch at the most. Again, it's a slip stitch, so you don't see the thread, it travels in the roll. Pick up 1 or 2 threads from the garment and pop that needle into the roll. One or 2 threads, then pop that needle, it travels through the roll. Now you can use spray starch to help you stiffen your fabric if you need to. Some people find that's pretty helpful. This is a stitch that takes a lot of time, but it's really rhythmic, and if you like hand sewing, this is a nice one. And every once in a while you have to stop and roll up some more of that hem. Roll it with your sewing hand and hold it with your non-sewing hand. Now there's another way to do this. If your fabric is linen or something else a little stiffer and can hold the crease, go ahead and finger crease down the edge. Again, toward the wrong side so that the machine stitches lay a little below the fold. Now you're only going to fold it once, you're not going to fold it twice because the stitches will end up folding it the second time. What you do, again, you take up 1 or 2 threads from the garment, and then you put up your needle diagonally and it goes near the edge of the fold, just on this side of the fold, so that all your stitches will be hidden. So pick up a couple of threads on the garment and up diagonally through the edge of the fold. And you make a couple of these stitches, a few of these stitches, until you have about 1 inch worth of stitches. And when you do, then you pull them. Don't pull too tight. If you pull too tight, it'll leave puckers in your fabric. Ask me how I know. But see, the stitches end up doing the rolling for you, and that works for crisp fabrics. For silks, you're going to have to do the rolling and the slip stitch. And here's the outside, the back side, again with contrasting thread, but matching thread would blend in a whole lot better. And here's where I did use matching thread, but I did pull too tight, and so it leaves indents and it really shows those stitches. And there is the rolled side. Right, let's move on to the machine narrow hem. The hemmer foot has a coil-looking flange at the front of the foot. They come in a set width, and there you can see the coil better. This one's a 3 millimeter foot. You can get them in different sizes. So with the hammer foot on the machine, you're going to stitch down close to the edge, about 1/2 inch. Leave some long thread tails so that you can hold on to them, which I don't do here, but it does, if you hold on to them, it does keep your fabric from being sucked into the underworld there of the feed dogs. Go down about 1/2 inch. Figure out how to raise your needle, and then raise your pressure foot and pull that fabric back toward you. Don't trim it, just leave the fabric where it is, just pull it back toward you. And then with your hands and the thread tails in your left hand, you're going to guide, wiggle, feed that fabric into the coils. Now the coil folds the fabric under twice, so make sure you're getting enough fabric in it. And then pull back on those thread tails to get it in place. The coil holds the fabric so that the needle can stitch it down. You'll notice with my right hand, I'm holding the edge of the fabric kind of vertically almost. I find that really helps me get enough fabric into the coils. Too much fabric and it'll make tucks. Not enough fabric and it only folds under once. A good guide is to make sure that edge of the fabric is on that left groove of that hammer foot. That's what I look for. And again, I'm holding the fabric upright with my right hand and just kind of guiding with my left. This stitch takes a lot of practice. I can't stress that enough. In the front and the back. Nice clean. So here we have the narrow rolled hem by hand on top, and you can see it is more dimensional. It is a roll, and the machine narrow hem on the bottom, it is flat. If you have a hammer foot for your machine, don't be scared. Do try it out. It does take some practice though. But if you like to do by hand, the hand narrow rolled hem will give you far more control. Well, I hope you found that video helpful. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments below and I'll be sure to reply. Thank you so much for watching. Enjoy your sewing time. Goodbye.